Hi. In the UK, where I come from, you have a very, I think, positive reputation environmentally, except for one issue. And that issue is the sense that you have to travel by car to go and shop in IKEA. The stores are located out of town, public transport access is often poor, and if you want to go for home delivery, the price is prohibitive for most people. So my question is, of your total carbon footprint, what percentage is people travelling to the store by car, and what strategies have you got to reduce that?
Okay, I don't have the figure for car transportation. We could find that out, but I don't have that figure available here right now. It's a fairly big amount. 1.5 million tons. Okay, there you go. Thank you. Thank you, Ole. Yeah, it is a difficult question. I would agree with you. I don't have the best possible solutions. I try to argue sometimes that in some respects IKEA is good in the sense that you only have to go to one place to buy everything for your home, which would mean one car trip. And actually you can bring it home in your car when you go there right away. You don't have to have it transported home from somebody, which would mean a second trip with a vehicle. So if traditional home furnishing only existed, you would have to go a number of stores and you would have to have someone transport it home for you. The problem for us, of course, is when you have everything in one place like this, the amount of cars you actually see visibly in one spot are so many that it looks like it's tremendous amount. But in all other competitors, it's spread out. So I think the concept in some ways is not bad compared to what the alternatives could be. So that's one answer. It may sound defensive, but that's I think is a relevant response. The other thing we can do, of course, is to increase the amount of public transport to the stores. And we have, in our strategy, we try to put our stores to the extent possible close to railways, metros, that type of thing, which is much more efficient than bus transportations, where you can only service a very limited amount of customers. We also now have a new strategy where we actually say IKEA stores have to be connected to shopping centers. It's a new store establishment strategy. And by doing that, of course, we are connecting to other centers where there is a bigger likelihood that we can increase the public transport services and be close to railway lines, etc. and have visitors who also are in the shopping center and the IKEA store connect, so to speak, which I think can also help. Then I think we must work harder with transportation alternatives, home transportation, the prices of home transportation. And again, home transportation probably is slightly better, but the best alternative must be that if you come to IKEA with a car, you also bring the stuff home with that car, rather than using home transportation service. Is there any microphones down that way?
Hello. Yes, Orlando Lima from Brazil. Mr. Anders, I would be very interested to learn a little bit more about the iWay program that you described here. In terms of how did you persuade the suppliers to make the changes that they needed to make to be adherent to the rules that you have proposed to them, as well as the freight suppliers? Because probably they would have additional costs to comply with all the requirements, and if they had some return, something in return for this kind of changes.
Yeah, I think it's an enormous variation in different parts of the world to what extent our suppliers and how quickly they adhere to these requirements. I think one of the big hurdles in the beginning, of course, was that the argument from our suppliers was that it would increase the prices and that there would have to be a price premium. And of course, we did not initially want to give any price premiums. So I think it took us a little while in the sense that we had to work with them so that we could prove that this actually did not increase the prices. I think that is the key. That is the real key. And I would say that we have very little evidence of that the purchase prices have to be increased as a consequence of the measures that we set at our suppliers. And in many cases, they can actually decrease because it's about the order in the factory, and it's about a lot of things that actually does help the motivation of the co-workers. They work more effectively, they get less sick, and there are a lot of things, actually more things that are decreasing the prices, I would say, than increasing them. So when they realize that, I think the job is done in terms of persuasion. That is the big factor. It's all about business for the suppliers. Of course, some of them have a genuine concern for the environment, but at the end of the day, they are entrepreneurs. They have to make money. So that is. Sometimes we discuss whether we should have a price premium in order that if you live up to highway standards, but it's as I said, it's very seldom necessary.
Hi, Robert Coleman. Hi, Robert Coleman with Rogue Element. How much emphasis do you place on communicating your sustainability efforts to the general public in your stores, and do you see that having a role in promoting an awareness and desire for sustainability, environmental awareness to the public?
Yes, we've had a fairly cautious approach to this, if I look back now when we started 10 years ago, because I felt there was a lot of greenwashing going around. A lot of companies were putting up all their ambitious plans, and I think it's very much in the IKEA culture that we say what we want to do and we do it before we talk about it. So for a number of years we have had a fairly low profile in this in order to produce results before we talk about it. So talking less about what we're going to do than what we are doing and have done has always been our key thing. I think now, as I have tried to explain to you today, we have a number of things we have actually accomplished that we can also talk about to the general public, and the time has come to be more public and transparent with the information. We've had information for a while, but it's been limited, I think, to the internet and to certain publications that for those who are really interested, it's easy to find. It is a bit of a challenge for us to find how to communicate this to the general public so that they actually access the information and read it. And it probably has to happen in the store, close to the products, in some way. It's not more leaflets, it's not more brochures being sent out, because we all know how well read or not they are. It's finding another way to doing that in the stores. And it is a priority going forward, is the communication strategy. And we have a lot of pressure also internally to do this. Many of our co-workers think we should speak much more loudly about what we do. So it is a priority going forward. The how part we are still struggling a little bit with.